got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember what your past said. Boy, you got a friend in me. Yeah, you got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. You got trouble, and I got them too. There isn't anything what you do. We stick together, see it through, 'cause you got a friend. You got a friend in me. Some other folks might be a little bit smarter than I am. The way I do is me and you, boy. And as the years go by. Nice man, send it to coming at you from the hashtag Dirty South. I always got to get my sip in before we get started. Man, I want to say, first of all, thank you for all the shout outs, messages, subscriptions, tags. Man, means a lot. You know, I'm new to the community on YouTube. I've been a hobbyist pretty much ever since about 8 years old. What a gap when the strike happened. But MLB strike, that is. But I want to say thank you to everybody for get my frame straight. Thank you for everything, man. It means a lot. It's been a tough week. Got a bunch of stuff going on. Today's been a good day. Just kind of chilling. Want to make a quick video. Trying to keep my mind busy. I've commented on a couple of YouTube channel people that I follow that put out great content, and some of the other people that follow had questions, and so I tried to answer that. Part of that is why I'm doing this video, and it would be because of this subject. I guess first of all, there's a lot of videos out there talking about SGC and the whole process. And that's not what I'm doing. I'm not going to tell you how to submit cards. There's plenty of information out there on how to do that. I've produced stuff, other people have, and I've linked some prior videos. So I'm not here to do that. I'm not telling you how to get cards graded, convince you to go to SGC, anything like that. Hashtag SGC Mafia. But I do want to, it seems like there's a couple questions that keep coming up, or topics that keep coming up in chat groups, social media rooms or platforms. And I just want to help out because I happen to know the answers to that. So feel free to take it for what it is. What I'm going to tell you is personal, firsthand experience. Okay. When you submit to SGC online, you have a creation date for your invoice for your submission. And that's your sheet. Just like PSA or Beckett, you got to have a sheet with your descriptions of your cards. There'll be that date will be the date that it was created. So you can save that and submit it later, or work. Like I've got one that I'm working on. And I finished it up. I worked on it off and on all week when I felt like it. I just don't want to send it off and pay for it yet, because when you do SGC, you pay up front. It's not like PSA where they bill you once they do the submission. SGC is up front. So I don't want to do that yet. So that's why there's a creation date. Okay. Do not count the creation date for your days of grades of service. Okay. Seems like I got some. Hey, what's up, CW brother? Hey man, appreciate it, man. You got. I saw your stuff, man. It's pretty. Your car's pretty tight, man. I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't have my comments blocked up. I walked up there. I'm on this stream platform this evening, but I wanted just to make sure everybody understands is that your creation date, you do not count days for your turnaround. Say we're just going to stick to 20-day. That's your, most common turnaround time is 20-day service. Okay. When you want to start counting your days, first of all, you count business days, Monday through Friday. You do not count Saturdays and you do not count Sundays. They are a business that are their typical operating hours are Monday through Friday. So that would be your business day, just like a bank or any other business. You count business days, not calendar days. Okay. And you don't count it until you look at your invoice where you see that it's been put into the system. You can go in there and check the status of your submissions. And when you do that, look at the date that's on the invoice, not the date that's with your entry to click into that invoice. So, because that'll be your creation date. Then when you go into the invoice and see your invoice online to see when they got the cards, they put the date and time. For those not familiar with the business environment and the way a business days and hours count is if you're familiar with the way a bank run hours are run and days are run, it is very, very similar. Okay. You should consider anything after 1 o'clock next business day. Okay. So let's say your cards got there on Tuesday at 1 p.m. That's when it got entered. Don't count that day. You should count the next day as that being their first day there. Because typically a business day time is after 1 o'clock, moves on to the next time. If you ever notice that about your bank, typically most banks and credit unions work that way. Anytime after a certain time of the day, your deposits, let's say you made a deposit into your account, would be the next business day. Fund, that kind of thing. Not your funds available, but when the funds actually counted as your transaction day. Okay. So I hope that helps. But then you count, like I said, so it got there Monday at 1 p.m. So you say, okay, well, it really got there Tuesday. What seems to work for me with my experience with SGC is you count the next day, Wednesday, is day one. You'll count 20 business days, Monday through Friday only. It's very important that you understand that because a lot of folks are getting that confused that, well, it's 20 days. I should have got it back in 20 days. Well, they don't have to work the weekend. I think was his name, Peter Palmer, whatever his name is from SGC, said, I think on Bobble's video said that he had talked to him about 2 weeks ago and that they actually worked last weekend, or Andy said it one that they worked his conversation with him. This is third hand from my memory being bad as it is this past couple of weeks. So, they're working on the weekend. That's not a required day to count as a customer. We can only expect as a customer for the business days that they're actually open for business. They're going in extra, paying their people overtime to get caught up. Hey, what's up, Bobbles? Just threw your video out there. And Bobbles, if you can give a thumbs up or a thumbs down or type something, I believe maybe the other week you talked to either Andy or Peter, Paul, and Mary over at SGC, and they said they happened to be working on the weekends. I was just explaining how you should count on a 20-day. We're using a 20-day turnaround time. Not is 21. Explain what I just explained what a business day is and hours of a business day, and then how to count that, not to count the weekends, and just explained that was my understanding from one of your videos, I believe. And I apologize if it's not, because you put out a lot of good content, is that they actually worked the weekend, had some of their folks come in for overtime. I don't know if you want to give a thumbs up so people can see that, or a thumbs down, or whenever, if y'all check the Thank you, brother. So, y'all just remember that, these, and also within these 20 days, my last order, I was at 29 days. This was not this Friday, but the Friday before. I actually called, called Bobbles and reached out to him to see if he had heard anything. Any orders I've ever gotten from SGC, quite honestly, in a 20-day order, I've gotten in about 15 days. I'm not sending bulk. Did you get it? CW, is that at Bobbles or is that at me? Thumbs up if it's me, thumbs down if it's Bobbles. But I had surgery. Some outpatient kind of stuff on my back, and before I left to go to the surgery center, I sent an email to Andy. He's my contact. I've got his information. Work with him, and he's like, "Hey, I'll check on it, get back to you, get to feeling well." Well, by the time I got home and everything else, he had done emailed me back while I was getting my stuff done on my back, and hey, we got it took care of. It's out the door. That was 29 days. I got you, brothers. So mine was at 29 days on that Friday. And the only reason I had any concern was hearing off the Cardboard Chronicles interview with the director of operations SGC that he pretty much, if he didn't say it, all but said, he wanted to hear from customers if they were exceeding the deadline. And with it being a Friday going into a weekend, that would have been 30 plus days. Probably by the time I would have, definitely got back with them business days, because I wouldn't have contacted them till like Wednesday or something, been able to do something. So I had my stuff at my house Monday morning. Okay. All right. Now we've explained that. Just want to also let you know that there's been an issue with tracking with your tracking numbers. Keep this in mind when you're doing your online, because you're doing an online submission. So when you're doing your submission, when you get to the options for mail out, it shows an emblem of the actual eagle, but I do believe that there's also a FedEx symbol. So I think the problem is that they've used FedEx in the past, and somehow when their programming software got written for their platform for shipping, something got crosswired. Somebody linked FedEx to this, but everything is going to be UPS priority 3-day mail back from Boca Raton, Florida. And if you don't know where Boca Raton is, it's north of Miami and just south of Palm Beach, down that way, part of Florida, and on the ding-a-ling-ling. And but they send it back 3-day mail. So don't panic when you go over there. Just keep in mind, hey, there's a UPS Eagle, US Mail Eagle. Let me go over and track that. So that tracking number is for USPS, and that's priority 3 mail. And then when you do that, just keep that in mind. It's pretty accurate. Now, there's something that everybody needs to remember with the mail. I'm not seeing a lot of people putting this information out there, and I've tried putting it out on some comment boards and whatnot, but we need to remember, we're talking about CW, and is that the Postal Service still has delays. I'm in North Carolina, and when I mailed my last shipment to SGC, which I'm on the East Coast, 3 states away, straight down I-95. Well, I guess 77 to 26 to 95. But anywho, they told me at the post office that 3-day priority mail could take up to 5 days. It took 5 days to get from Charlotte, North Carolina regional post office down to Boca Raton on my last submission about 2 weeks ago. So just keep that in mind, that's a delay. So shipping there and shipping back. I do priority mail. I follow PSA collectors submission way he does submissions, and I just like it. I think it's really good policy procedures to do on shipping cards. I'll refer you over to PSA collector. He's got a great tutorial on how to submit cards and get them shipped. But just remember that with the post office, I know that I have shipped to the West Coast to Cards and Guns, and it took, I think, 6 days, if not 7, to get to the West Coast from North Carolina. And that was 3-day priority mail. So just remember that, Boca Raton is in Florida, South Florida, and they use not UPS, U.S. Postal Service 3-day priority mail. So there's delays. So don't count those days. Don't count that as extra days not getting your stuff. Right, it's still at the post office. I was getting ready to get to that too. Thanks, Bobbles. You the man. Man, you got ESPN, brother. So just remember that. And then as far as their mail, they're not going to the actual their facility anymore. They pretty much have a commercial PO box, drop box that they're using, that they're having their mail routed to. If some of y'all are familiar with that, especially some of you guys, or folks that take big bulk orders, it's a lot easier to have that stuff sent to the post office and pick it up and ship it out, because that's where you got to go. So with just the sheer volume of stuff, they're going there. They're the hold for them, and I think it's called a commercial drop box. I think it's what it's called. Some facilities have it. So obviously they must have it down at Boca Raton or nearby regional mail center. One of these larger ones, not your smaller Walnut Grove, Little House on the Prairie mail facilities, or Mayberry, like here in North Carolina. So yeah, just remember that kind of information. And what else was there? There was something else. Oh, you can use the seller's images. You can download it. You don't have to download any kind of software. You don't have to do any of that stuff. All you need to do is click over and download it to your desktop. You can use those images for your eBay store, Instagram, for your filing, keeping records on what cards you got, because I'm sure everybody's got certain cards that are, to quote Elite Code, the myth, the man, the legend, the alpha wolf for the SGC Mafia. So yeah, called Casket Slabs. I learned that watching his show or video. So yeah, you can use those images. It's a great tool. I've actually used it, posted stuff to my eBay store, and actually have sold a card or two before I actually got them physically in my possession. And that's how, and what you're doing there, I know some will say you're taking a risk with the labels and stuff getting messed up, or you're having to ship something back. Well, I look at it as a risk of doing business. It's so slight that the sheer number of cards that I submit, that occurring was slim to none. And that brings up another topic. Make sure you're checking your slabs. There's been some mislabeling on the tabs. All you need to do is, I think Bobbles will attest to this, and Elite Code 3 will attest to this. All you got to do is reach out to SGC. They're going to make things right. They're not going to shaft you. They got great customer service. Also, they were supposedly moving, and the reason for part of the delay too is they were supposedly this past Wednesday signing a lease on a new facility, because the state of Florida's governor didn't clamp down on restrictions as bad as, say, New York, California, and Texas. I mean, he didn't do it. I'm not getting into politics or anything like that, but I think he was pretty dead burnt smart, because he singled out the folks that would be targeted as being susceptible to this virus. So that allowed SGC and a lot of other businesses to stay open that, unlike PSA and Beckett, that they couldn't. And you got to remember, Florida has the second highest elderly population in the state, only behind the state of New York. So they thought that was going to be pretty bad down there. But so that's why SGC got to stay open. They did have people working in the office, but some of their staff, I know for a fact, were remote. At least what I was told for a fact was that they were working remotely from home. They were getting product to their graders, that the ones that couldn't come in the office, because part of the deal was that the health department and the governor's office said, okay, you can stay open. We're going to allow you to stay open and not lock everybody down. Well, you're going to have spacing between employees, increased distance. So that limited how much staff. I can attest to that being true. I work for a major insurance company that has call centers and regional offices throughout the country, and they're empty. They're having people work from home remotely from these call centers, and there's no time frame on getting them back anytime within the next 2 months that they're going to actually supposedly re-engineering workspace areas. So, I mean, this virus has got a lot of good things that's happened because of it, and a lot of bad things, unfortunately, socially and economically and commercially. But they, they're doing a really good job with what they've got. I mean, it's like crazy numbers. I was watching Bob's video last night, and he was putting out, I think, the numbers that he had been told had been increased volume from this time last year. Y'all should go over and watch that video for sure. I know he shared his submissions and stuff, but he's also given a lot of good information. But just to recap real quick, when we've gone over the topics, that I just wanted to make sure everybody knew was this isn't a video on how to submit cards, how to package cards. There's plenty of videos out there. Like I said, I've done them. Everybody that's probably on here in the chat or watch knows how to get that. If you do, I really do suggest PSA Collector. His tutorial video is really, really good. So do that. Remember what a business day is. A business day is 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. unless otherwise stated. Anything after 1 o'clock is typically considered the next business day. Business week consists of 5 business days without any holidays, Monday through Friday. We don't count the weekends. On your invoice, you'll have two dates. You'll have a creation date and a date that the order was received. The date that the order received is the date that you start your countdown the next day. So you got it on a Monday, unless it's after 1 o'clock, you really should say Tuesday just to be safe. Okay, so then do your countdown to your 20, because we're using 20-day service, do 20 days, and then we'll go from there. Excuse me. Don't count turnaround time for mail once they send it back to you. You shouldn't expect that from PSA. You shouldn't expect that from Beckett, BCC, whoever you use, Amazon. You don't count that. Okay. Once you count is the days of turnaround service where they actually have possession of the card and they're grading. And another thing, I know there's been issues coming up again about autographs. Autos are not authenticated at SGC. They will grade autos that come from the card manufacturer, like stickers or on card signatures that came from Topps, came from Bowman, came from Vanini, anything like that. So they do that. They will grade. I haven't asked, I'm inquired to do so on certain cards, not for them to grade, but I was watching a video from Elite Go maybe a month ago, and Nolan was saying that he was going to ask them not to grade his autos. That may be very well something you should do. Maybe put a note in with your submission, send an email, call down there, send you an email. I'd say send an email, that kind of thing to SGC, and let them know you don't want your, see if that's an option. I don't know if it is or not, but I know that's come up. Yeah, Bobbles. Yeah, y'all put your stuff in order. There's plenty of videos on how to categorize. I've done on Bobbles has done it. Chili's has done it. Alico's done it. PSA Collector has done it. There's some other guys out here too that I'm just going blank because I watched their videos. There's a, make sure, look at the way people are doing their cards. You want your cards to be in order as the way they are on the invoice. Okay. And little tricks to the trade that people show that helps the grader, because you want to help the grader, because your grade is only as subjective as the person who is looking at it. And at that moment, what are they going through? Makes you think. You know, you got a grader there that maybe they're having problems at home. You know, maybe they're stressed out because of the volume that they've got, and they want to do good. And everybody has bad days at work and at home. So do these people too. So always remember the grades on a card are subjective to the person that's grading them and in the moment that they are in. And they are only human. The only way to get that out is for technology to take over. And I don't see that happening anytime soon, to be honest with you. I don't think it's going to be really cost effective at this point. Hey, Chili, man, thank you, man. Doing good. I was trying to do a quick video and it's turned into almost 30 minutes. But I got a lot of people on here watching and stuff. So, I mean, a lot of people from me, so that's pretty cool. So thank you, man. Thank you for the video too, man. I gave a thumbs up on it and it was a good video. Some wicked hot cards in there. But yeah, just, remember the FedEx tracking is not the tracking. SGC is aware of it. They're trying to get it fixed. But your tracking is the United States Postal Service, because there's the Eagle Priority Mail Service indicator when you pay for your shipping, when you do your payment, because SGC requires payment up front. You see that Eagle. It's not a FedEx Eagle. So you have to deduce if it went to FedEx and it didn't work, who's the next one. So remember that. And then something else. Yeah, sorry, y'all. Just getting kind of scatterbrained. Also, y'all need to hook over to Bobbles and Ball Cards channel. He's doing a giveaway, subscriber giveaway. He's trying to reach 300 subscribers, and absolutely, brother. And try to reach out over to him if you want a chance to win one of those mats that you put your cards on. If you watch like Phil's Pools, I know Bobbles has got one, and then Phil, like Phil Pool, you put your cards on, you got the camera and all that stuff. But he's got information on that. He's got a giveaway, and I don't know how he's going to do that, I think. And he's even offered to do, he dabbles with graphic design and stuff. So he's even willing to do a design if you don't have one, help you come up with something. So definitely go over to his channel. Go over and hit Chili's channel, Chili Sports Cards channel. He's got some really good videos. Dude is like, he's funny as shit. Man, it makes me laugh. And all I want to say is that his two kids, my wife loves his two kids. They're trying to get camera time, and you won't get camera time. So I'll let Chili respond to that one. But just remember, y'all, that mine was 29 days. I got it back on the 30th business day. And I got a response from Andy at SGC. And then So he's your point of contact. He's been director of operations. Peter Palmieri, whatever his name is, has deferred over to Andy. Andy's the right hand guy, and so he's taking inquiries. Hit me up on Instagram, NanceMan72, if you want his email address. I know Bobbles has it. Chili's should have it. Reach out to him. Any of us like, try to help. And lastly, I want to say thank you again from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for everybody for all the shout outs, comments, couple subscriptions. Man, y'all didn't have to do that. Comments on the videos for support, comments of support where I've posted on other people's YouTube pages. Man, it just means a lot because I'm new to the community and still learning. And so, man, I just really want to say hashtag SGC Mafia. And so keep your head up, eyes up, head on a swivel. Deuces, NanceMan72 is out. If I can find the end button. Peace, guys. God bless.